Good morning. I didn't go out last night, so I've got a lot of energy. Hopefully you all do too. So my name is Alyssa Furth, and I'm going to talk a little bit today on intelligent operating system and how we can bring MarTech and AdTech closer together. So I'm sure you don't need me to tell you this. Are we on? Actually, let me double check. There we go. MarTech and AdTech are converging. I think we all have heard this and know this in our minds. The technology today is closer than it's ever been before. But as organizations, we still aren't operating this way. We're still treating MarTech and AdTech largely as separate problems to solve, separate ways to deliver customer experiences, different data ecosystems that we need to figure out how to maneuver. It's a pattern that we see. Tools integrate faster than organizations do. Checkbooks and workflows are always slower to move. But this has a very significant impact then on our brand growth and on our ability to deliver cohesive, personalized customer experiences. I see this every day as part of the world's largest holding company. I am a senior manager of AdTech at Credera, which is Omnicom's transformation consultancy. And in this role, I operate on both sides of the ecosystem. So I help brands in building their first-party data strategies and their personalization strategies and their MarTech infrastructures, trying to help deliver better, more efficient, and more effective advertising, more personalized customer experiences. And so then I see the results, what happens when tools and systems don't talk to each other, when teams don't have the right data and insights, and when budgets are slower to move. What happens is we are continuing to fight to close these gaps that we've been talking about for a long time. Fragmentation, latency, closed-loop measurement, these aren't new. But we're now at a point where we're trying to activate first-party data within media. We still can't do that systematically or at scale. Our activation is slower than our customers are moving, so we're not responding in real time, at least not in a systematic way across all channels. And we're still, despite spending tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in media, it's probably one of the biggest things that our companies invest in, and we can't quite prove what is actually driving outcomes, what's driving that sale, that lead, that subscription. And AI is speeding all of this up, right? It is exposing these gaps at a faster rate. It's putting more pressure on all of us as marketers. The thing is, this isn't just a doom and gloom story. I'm not here to perpetuate fear because it's also an opportunity. AI is going to allow us to close these gaps faster than we ever could have before. And now we can finally deliver on the personalization promise. I think we've been talking about personalization, right person, right message, right time for the last decade, right? But we haven't really quite reached that full potential of full, advanced, one-to-one personalization at scale. We've invested in data and analytics, in tools, but it still feels manual, siloed to one channel, tactical, and lacking the right data and signal. And so to talk about why this is the case and where we need to go, and particularly for the purposes of this conversation, we need to separate signal from data. So data is our customer data, the stored customer context that we have learned about our customers over time based on how they've interacted with us, interacted with our brand, their purchase decisions, their customer loyalty, their preferences. This even includes the data that we have purchased to enrich our customer profiles, like demographic data. So signal then, by contrast, is what's happening right now. It's our marketing engagement data, clicks, open rate, view-through rate, impressions, et cetera. It's also in-market behavior, intent signals, what content our customers are engaging with, and not just the content from our brand, but the content from all of the brands, right? The entire publisher ecosystem, the social media ecosystem. So it's also the cultural trends that they're participating in, or furthermore, the ones that they're creating themselves. When we go to build our MarTech stacks and our data infrastructures, a lot of times we lump these together and we say it's all data. And we hope to solve for it all together. The problem is that data and signal are inherently different in the way that they function and what they tell us, in their availability, and in our ability to access and activate on them. And so up until this point, we've been in what I'll call the data-driven era. We've gotten pretty good at collecting customer data. We've invested in CRMs, CDPs, marketing automation, and other MarTech tools to help us with collecting, storing, and analyzing customer data. We use it for segmentation. We use it to create insights to then feed into downstream systems and hopefully make smarter decisions. Thanks to cookie deprecation, I think all of us have started to recognize the strategic value of our first-party data, particularly for targeting and reaching our customers in media. But it's still so hard, right? Advertisers still face so much friction in trying to activate their first-party data in media. Poor match rates, low scalability, platform fragmentation, which means that every single platform needs its own connector. Sometimes in our CDPs, we're even having to pay for each of those connectors individually, and then it compounds when we're trying to run multiple campaigns at once. So it still feels kind of one-directional. When we go and think about signal and how we use that, it feels out of reach. We think of it as living in ad tech in the way that it's been defined here. And if you think about it, we're having to use the black box methodologies and frameworks of these partners a lot of times. They determine how we build our audiences, and we don't really have any insight into how they're being defined. And then when it comes to trying to measure how they're performing, again, we're stuck with their methodologies and their frameworks. So we really can't get that full picture of who we're reaching and how our media is actually performing. Now, that isn't to fall short on all of the progress that we have made so far in starting to bring performance signals back in. But when we do that, it's still aggregated, fragmented, incomplete. And it requires heavy data ingestion pipelines and heavy data engineering to even get this data in, to standardize it, make it usable, and then figure out what signal's actually driving demand. So in the data-driven era, data is falling and sitting behind signal. And we're still treating MarTech and AdTech largely as separate. They're integrated but not orchestrated. The connections are there, but they're sparse. We don't have the right structures to actually create those cohesive customer experiences in real time. Right? Our teams are treating these channels separately, media, e-com, CRM, owned by different teams, funded through separate budgets. And so what this means is that we are always operating behind the customer. Signal is not feeding into decisions and experiences fast enough. Customer insight is not dynamically feeding into media decisioning in real time, and insights are coming after decisions have already been made. But AI is flipping the script. We now have more access to more signal beyond just our own brand ecosystem than ever before. And we can act on these signals, massive amounts, in hours, if not seconds. We can ingest, standardize, and translate hundreds of millions of marketing signals into meaningful insights on our business overnight. Better yet, we can feed these signals into AI agents, kick off our marketing workflows, or personalize customer experiences in a matter of seconds. So now we're moving from acting in hindsight to in-the-moment decisioning, where signal is now in front of data. So much so that these signals are determining how our businesses move as a whole. They are predicting and driving demand. They're informing product innovation and new product launches. I mean, think about all the TikTok products that have been launched recently. Right? These real-time behaviors and interactions are now informing identity in real time and triggering action. So what was once static insight and stored context are now dynamic customer profiles that are actionable. And so this also means that ad tech is now moving more into our sphere of decision-making and control. Look, I can't speak for Google, Meta, Amazon, the walled gardens of the world. We will never actually understand or be able to control what's happening in those ecosystems. But with AI, we can start to control for those variables more and understand how they fit into the bigger picture. How we can orchestrate massive amounts of data and signal together to reinvent how we engage with our customers and personalize at scale. And better yet, we can start to solve for the ecosystem as a whole, even the parts that we don't and will never own. Right, where you think about how MarTech and AdTech will be connected and operate as one system. So now data and signal come together in a continuous loop where media is informing identity, behavior and predictive insight is informing our customer experiences and informs activation. And every single interaction is informing and improving the next. What this means is we are shifting how we think about managing our marketing organization and our tech stacks. We're moving from thinking about it as a portfolio of platforms, as individual teams and channels, into a connected and intelligent operating system. So look, if we want to build true end-to-end agentic workflows, which is what we're all talking about now, and if we really want to deliver on cohesive marketing strategies that deliver personalization at scale, we have to think beyond one platform or one team. We have to think about how we create the connectivity within our infrastructures to deliver on this. Technology is really critical here, having the right data foundation to bring these signals in, to make data usable, structured, and accessible, right? That's core to the foundation for AI and for personalization. But this isn't just about the technology. It's only one piece of the puzzle. Because to create meaningful customer experiences and to deliver on growth and efficiency within our marketing organizations, we have to think about how platforms, people, and processes are designed to evolve together and operate as one, where data and signal come together to inform identity in real time, where marketing and IT are no longer battling each other, and they are aligned to shared outcomes, shared growth goals, shared customer experiences. And furthermore, where we are breaking down the silos across all of our teams, including our agency partners, so that intelligence flows seamlessly, so that we are all operating off of one shared foundation for intelligence and activation. And furthermore, as agents are taking on more of the execution tasks, they are moving seamlessly from one stage of the workflow to the next. This means now that insights are feeding activation in real time, which is the true definition of intelligence, and we are measuring in flight, making real-time optimizations, and all of it is tied to outcomes. When we do this, marketing is no longer planned in isolation. Decisions are made and optimized across the system, and every single customer experience, every single touch point is the product of a whole. So this isn't just a concept or a POV that we've developed. This is the power of Tealium, AWS, and Credera together. We have built and deployed these operating systems as the basis for precision advertising, for agentic media workflows, and for AI-driven transformation across industries. Tealium plays a critical role. We're going to put it at the top here for delivering those real-time signals, making them structured, usable, and accessible to the entire system. So we are using Tealium IQ, CAPI integrations, Event Stream, AI Stream, all together to feed real-time customer context into our marketing workflows and into our AI models. And then we are triggering personalization across channels in real time. And not just to our known customers, but to our unknown customers as well. We're able to progressively profile and ensure that every single interaction is the product of the last. AWS then is that cloud and intelligence foundation. It is a single enterprise layer where we are doing advanced analysis and model-based decisioning. So we are bringing Tealium's real-time signals in, combining it with enterprise data, think even like ERP and supply chain data, with stored customer context, and with sales outcomes. And we're creating this persistent and evolving identity foundation. We're bringing real-time signals in. We're bringing all of those platform and device IDs in to create a more persistent and real-time identity foundation, which is the fuel then for the operating system and all of the marketing and enterprise decisions to be made. This ecosystem then also allows us to do advanced modeling, closed-loop measurement, and feeding our agentic workflows with these real-time signals. And so we've got this continuous feedback and optimization loop. The power of this operating system built on Tealium and AWS is not in these two platforms alone and the capabilities that they provide, but in how they work together. And so that's where Credera comes in. We are the architect, so to speak, of the operating system, working across teams to enable and maximize how Tealium and AWS work together in a complex marketing organization. We are designing how intelligence flows. We are building enduring marketing capabilities on top of this platform so that marketers now are able to actually deliver against their use cases and unlock these new and personalized customer experiences across all channels. We connect these platforms into the enterprise data layer, into the downstream marketing activation platforms, into the AI orchestration layer, right? So we're making intelligent decisions that are all fueled by this data infrastructure. And we're creating a unified operating model across people, process, and tech to drive performance, to drive growth, and ultimately to create a foundation for innovation and future scale. Right? This is where the value is delivered. Not in one of these platforms alone, not in the inputs alone, but in how it all works together. This is the architecture pattern that we use for using Tealium and AWS together to deliver those real-time experiences across precision advertising, feeding Tealium's real-time signals from media, their behavioral signals into our planning tools so that we can now inform channel allocation, media mix, content development. We use a combination of Tealium and AWS clean rooms to ensure that any first-party data sent down into those activation platforms is adhering to maximum privacy compliance. But the real power here is in the story and the results that we're able to deliver. So we have been working with this global pharma since 2018 to transform their consumer marketing organization and help them in delivering a more consumer-centric model. So this global pharma wanted to create a direct-to-consumer marketing model similar to any other consumer brand that you would see. And this was particularly challenging, not just because of the familiar challenges that we've all talked about, right? Disconnected platforms and channel experiences, fragmented data, but also because in order to do this, we had to deliver high-impact, personalized experiences at scale, while ensuring that we were still adhering to strict HIPAA and other regulatory demands. We needed real-time signals from consumers and from patients. And so we built this operating system using Tealium and AWS. So we used Tealium's real-time customer data infrastructure for tag management, for event-level data capture, and for unified profiles to ingest and stream these behavioral and media signals into AWS in real time. These were the inputs then for predictive models, for propensity modeling, and for archetype creation that we fed back into Tealium to then execute on site personalization in real time. Again, not just against our known customers, but our unknown customers, progressively profiling so that every single interaction was better than the last. These web and media signals were also the basis for our really granular content and media performance analysis, where we were able to see what content was performing best on site, what content was performing best on media, and not just the creative as a whole, but the individual atomic elements of that content, and what combinations of the content were actually driving commercial impact, patient adherence, prescriptions, and customer engagement. There are two other elements to this story that are really critical because, like I said before, it's not just about the technology, but about how we all work together. And so Credera acted as the translation layer between marketing and IT to align us to shared outcomes, to ensure that IT systems were set up in such a way that they could be used by marketers and were delivering on real business outcomes. The capabilities that we were setting up would actually let marketers deliver on the customer experiences that they needed in order to achieve this ambition. And then at the same time, these marketing capabilities were set up for enterprise scale and to ensure that we were meeting IT's requirements for governance and for integrations. The second key here to the success of this transformation was in how we worked with the day-to-day media teams and the agency partners. We had to ensure that the marketing capabilities that we were delivering, the way that these platforms were configured, were usable by these marketers and would seamlessly fit into their media planning workflows so that the insights that were provided and the new capabilities would actually make an impact on media strategy. Right? How many times do we configure a platform and the marketers are like, I don't know how to use this? Right? This creates more friction than it does anything else. So to achieve these really transformative results, all of this together was really critical. We delivered better content performance, more relevant digital experiences across paid and owned, better patient adherence, and really meaningful optimizations of our media spend. So not just better customer experiences, but commercial growth while still achieving efficiency, which I'm pretty sure is the holy grail for us marketers. Look, these operating systems take time. Transformation doesn't happen overnight. And we're all under a lot of pressure right now to do more with less, to use AI to help us be efficient while still achieving growth. And so what we've done is we've productized this approach into a fast and practical on-ramp. It's a 6 to 8 week accelerator where we build an MVP of this operating system using Tealium and AWS, unlocking 1 to 2 use cases, starting with 1 to 2 data sources to prove tangible impact quickly. And we then have a scalable foundation that we can continue to build upon, unlock new capabilities, unlock new AI solutions, create new customer experiences for long-term transformation and growth. I only have 20 minutes, so I'd love to continue the conversation. Please come find me after at the booth or connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to talk about what this means for all of your organizations, because we've seen the power of what happens when we bring MarTech and AdTech together and think of them as one system. When data and signal flow to create continuous intelligence so that every decision is more accountable and more defensible. Every dollar works harder. We're creating those personalized experiences at scale that are cohesive across all channels, and we are leaning in with our customers to co-create together so that our customer experiences are more relevant, are more precise, and are more likely to convert. As we move toward managing our marketing organizations and our tech stacks as operating systems, there's one mantra to keep in mind. Own what you can, connect what you can. I'm a big proponent of trying to bring more and more data and signal into our own infrastructures to power our workflows, to power our agents. But the reality is that not everything is going to live in one place. There will always be data and systems that we never own. But to succeed in this world of more AI, of hyper-personalization, it all has to work together. We need data and signal to continuously flow to create intelligence, to power AI workflows, to create better customer experiences at scale, and to deliver long-term growth for our brands. Thank you very much.